London Bridge is down. Now, that's something we never thought we'd say in our lifetime. The world is shaken up as the news of Britain's longest reigning monarch settles in. There are a lot of questions that now need to be answered. When will the coronation ceremony be? When's the funeral? Why was Meghan Markle not by Her Majesty's side during her final moments? Well, we'll be answering all those questions and more, so stay tuned. First up, the Queen is dead. The royal family is in profound mourning after Queen Elizabeth passed away on September 8, 2022, 2 days after her last official engagement. The 96-year-old died peacefully at Balmoral Castle in Scotland. Earlier during the day, Buckingham Palace announced that Her Majesty the Queen was under medical supervision at Balmoral since doctors were concerned for her health. This was quite unusual for the palace since the Queen's medical affairs are mostly kept private. Some speculated that she might have had a fall. She seemed rather well as she was photographed smiling on Tuesday while appointing the new Prime Minister, Liz Truss, at Balmoral instead of the palace. However, somewhere down the line, her health deteriorated. Everyone kinda knew things were serious when the virtual meeting of the Privy Council of senior ministers was cancelled at the last minute. News of her death was announced around 6:30 p.m. local time. Moving on, the Queen's children join her in her final hours. As news about the Queen's failing health made the rounds, her children flew in from all over the world to join her at Scottish Estate near Aberdeen. Prince Charles, now King, was at Balmoral with his wife Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall, when she passed. The Queen was also joined by her grandson, the Duke of Cambridge, and other sons, the Earl of Wessex, and his wife, Sophie, the Countess of Wessex, as well as the Duke of York. They all landed at the Aberdeen Airport somewhere before 1600 British Standard Time on September 8th and were driven to the estate by Prince William. The Queen's daughter, Princess Anne, happened to already be in Scotland, owing to official engagements. As for the Duke of Sussex, Prince Harry, he was traveling separately to Balmoral to be with his grandmother. He was supposed to attend the Well Child Awards in London last evening, but had to understandably cancel the plans. Unfortunately, Prince Harry didn't make it in time as he was en route to Balmoral when the news of the Queen's death broke. Now, for the one who didn't go, that's a long list of people who joined the late Queen in her final moments, but it seems like we're missing one: Meghan Markle. Initial reports did say that the Duchess of Sussex would join the prince as he traveled to Balmoral, but the couple's spokesperson later shut down any such rumors. BBC correspondent Nicholas Witchell says that the couple might have decided that it isn't really a moment for Meghan to be there with other close members of the family. Of course, many think that Meghan was not warmly welcomed, but then again, she wasn't the only one missing from attendance. The Duchess of Cambridge remained in Windsor as Prince George, Prince Louis, and Princess Charlotte had their first full day at school. The day before, the Cambridges had made their way to the school for settling-in day. With Princess Kate also not going, Meghan's absence did seem to be more because of practical reasons than family drama. What's more, there are reports that Meghan and the Queen's relationship had been solid lately. Kind of hard to believe with Meghan's latest podcast and all, but oh well, whatever the tabloids say. It's not clear if the two will be joining the rest of the royal family immediately in Scotland or make an appearance at the state funeral. Next up, how's the next in line dealing with the loss? With Queen Elizabeth gone, the next in line for the throne is King Charles. After the devastating news, he issued a statement talking about how the death of his beloved mother, Her Majesty, the Queen, was a moment of great sadness for him and for all members of his family. His Majesty's statement further read, "We mourn profoundly the passing of a cherished sovereign and a much-loved mother. I know her loss will be deeply felt throughout the country, the realms, and the Commonwealth, and by countless people around the world." Joining Prince Charles and the royal family, thousands gathered outside Buckingham Palace. Apparently, the crowd broke into a rendition of God Save the Queen as news of Britain's longest reigning monarch spread. Prince Charles automatically became king after his mother's death. You can now call him King Charles III as he's not only the head of the UK, but also 14 other Commonwealth realms, including Canada and Australia. He's also the head of the British Armed Forces, the Civil Service, and the Judiciary. What's more, he'll be taking his place as the Supreme Governor of the Church of England and Fount of Honor. Now what happens? Of course, we all know that Prince Charles will now be crowned king, but what really happens? What happens to the Queen's body? Does the ceremony happen before or after the funeral? As hazy as the details are for you, the royal family knows exactly what to do. After all, they've been preparing for this for 60 years now. Operation London Bridge is the code name for the secret operation that was put together for this day. From how the news will be broken to the world to where the Queen gets buried, everything has been meticulously laid out. First things first, the world needs to know. Well, according to Operation London Bridge, the first order of business will be, or was, for the Queen's private secretary to contact the Prime Minister. The news would be relayed with the coded message, "London Bridge down." Following Following the news, TV presenters everywhere would don black ties and prepared obituaries were broadcast. A footman dressed in black would walk out of Buckingham and attach a black-edged notice to the gates. Most important of all, the Queen's family would immediately travel back. In fact, this is why the royal family members are asked to carry one black ensemble all the time. Next up, we've got gun salutes and title changes. Of course, Prince Charles isn't the only one getting a promotion. Prince William is now first in line to the throne and will now be known as the Duke of Cornwall. His wife, Kate, will follow a similar title change. Starting off the morning ceremonies, we have a meeting of the Accession Council at the 500-year-old St. James Palace in London. For the first time ever in the monarch's history, we'll get to watch the centuries-old ritual as it'll be broadcast live. A book of condolence will be opened at St. James's Palace and other venues. There'll be gun salutes all across London, one round for every year of the Queen's life. Brace your ears, Londoners. A public ceremony for mourning the Queen will be held at St. Paul's Cathedral in the coming days, when that'll not be attended by the royal family. Moving on, the funeral arrangements. As her position as monarch of the state, the Queen will be getting a publicly funded state. The exact details will be released in the coming days, but from what we know from Operation London Bridge, the Queen will be transported back to England. King Charles will sign off on the final funeral plans in a meeting with Earl Marshall. Past monarchs have been laid in state in Westminster Hall, the oldest part of the Palace of Westminster. Coming up, other details. So far, we've covered the Ascension Council on day 1 and the sad homecoming on day 2. On day 3, the King will begin a tour of the UK with his first stop at the Scottish Parliament. On day 4, the tour moves to Northern Ireland, while back home, procession preps get underway. On day 5, the coffin will be moved to the Palace of Westminster, where the Queen will lie in state. There will be a service in Westminster Hall after the service where her coffin lies on a purple draped raised box, known as a catafalque. Then from day 6 to 9, the Queen will lie in state. The Westminster Hall will be open to the public to pay their respects. You can go anytime, as the hall will be open for 23 hours a day. And then finally, on day 10, we'll have the state funeral. The nation will be marking 2 minutes silence at noon. The stock exchange is going to shut down for the day, so if you're from that side of town, giddy up. The state funeral is scheduled for Westminster Abbey. After that's wrapped up, we'll head to Windsor for a service at St. George's Chapel. And then there's the burial in the castle's King George VI Memorial Chapel. With King Philip's death, there was no such shenanigans, thanks to the pandemic. But this time around, you can expect huge crowds and grand processions everywhere. There's already a good deal of people hitting the streets for mourning, so there's no doubt about it. Alright, that's a wrap for this video. What are your thoughts on Meghan not being there for the Queen? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos. Bye now!